Hey, I'm Jason Freed, and welcome to another episode of Design Decisions. This episode, we're going to look at an actual design review. It's between me and Jonas. Jonas is one of our designers on the product team, and we are looking at a feature called Whispers. This is a new feature we're experimenting with internally in Basecamp 3. It's staff only for now, which means that the only people who can use it are people who work at Basecamp. And we're building it out, or we're going to start using it probably within a week or so, and probably use it for a few weeks to figure out if we like it or not. And if we do, decide if we'll roll it out to customers. If we do, it will replace a feature called Applause, which we currently have. So this is sort of a replacement for that. And this is the first design review we've done for this feature. They've been working on it for about a week, a little bit less than a week. So I haven't seen it. I've seen a couple pictures of it, but I haven't really walked through it with anybody. So this is what that would look like. And one thing you'll notice is that we don't really look at mock-ups. We walk through the real thing. So the reason we're doing a design review is because there's something to use. And this is on one of our beta servers, so we're actually walking through it together. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Oh yeah, at the end, you're actually going to get a sneak preview of another internal feature we're working on, which we're calling hill charts. And so you'll see that at the end. So if you use Basecamp and you're like, what is that chart thing? Well, that's not available to anybody yet either. We're still experimenting with that internally. So that for those of you who are Basecamp people, you'll go like, what's that about? Let's see, anything else? Oh yeah, one other thing. This design review is remote. So Jonas is based in a suburb outside of Chicago, and I'm currently in a suburb outside of LA. So we're doing this over Skype. So there's a few screen artifacts and maybe some blurry video here and there, but for the most part, I hope you can figure it out and see it. And this is exactly what we were seeing too. So hopefully everything works out, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. All right, here we go. So Whispers.
Whispers.
What do we got? By the way, I've been following along a little bit in the Basecamp project, so I borderline familiar with some of this stuff, but I haven't used anything yet and haven't really looked at it. So
yeah, okay.
How do you think it's going so far?
It's good. So I think the basic interaction stuff I think is pretty good. I feel pretty good about that, but there's some sort of outstanding open questions about this. I feel like there's a thing that doesn't exist in the world.
Right.
So we don't know how to do it. So
yeah.
So
conceptually, do you think it's holding up, or is it showing some cracks in a few areas we need to fill, or don't know yet? Or
I think it totally holds up.
Okay.
But yeah, there's some open questions. So maybe I'll just tour you through what we've done so far. Okay.
Let's do that.
So let me do the share screen thing. Okay.
Hang on.
Does that work?
Yep, I see it now.
Okay. Cool. So, so pretty much what we've done so far is more or less where we used to have a UI for applause, we now have a UI for a whisper instead.
Got it.
And used pretty much a similar pattern for how it works, except there's a few differences. So it used to be.
Hang on one second. I want to see if I can full screen this. I forget how. Skype does this. It's sort of full screen, but how do I get rid of your face and my face at the top? They just changed this. Do you know how to do that?
I don't want to see anything to do with your face.
Yeah, get rid of your face. All right, hang on. Open call gallery.
I think there's a little X on the face or something like that if you hover over it.
Hang on, let's see. Well, all right, whatever.
Let's
just go.
No, that didn't work.
Yeah, I don't know how to get rid of that strip at the top. I think they just I don't know if it's permanent. Oh, now you're just showing me, so that's
right.
Especially awkward.
Here, let me undo that and I'll redo it.
There.
All right.
I feel like it's got to be something on my side because I'm seeing. Well, anyway, all right, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
We'll deal with what we got here. So, all right. So I see the plus.
Yeah. So, and the plus is intentionally vague at the moment because that's one of the things I want to resolve.
Yep.
So it used to be on any item pretty much in Basecamp, you could hit a clap button and then you would clap and it would count your clap and that's it. So we replaced that. And so the thing that's different about this interaction is that when you hit this, a little field pops out. And so depending on where it is, it pops out, one of the two ways.
Mm-hmm.
And you can type something and then once you've typed, it kind of appears there. And if other people have left them, then they kind of show up below.
Yep.
And we've got you can do like an emoji, and then it kind of gets bigger when you submit it. It's kind of funny.
Your video got a little bit. Oh, there we go. Yep.
Yeah. So as an example of this actually working, so instead of like a fake example, Flora and I, so this is on a beta server, and Flora and I have actually been using it a little bit.
Is this actually up on beta 5 right now?
It is, yeah.
You know what? Maybe I'll, let me look at it. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've been like just barely starting to use it with each other. And it's funny, like the first thing we did was like, it became almost like a mini conversation.
Yeah.
And like, whether or not we mean for this to happen, I don't know if it matters, but like, I think it's a neat example of like the possibilities with this thing. Like it can be a reaction or an emoji or a celebration or like a sort of like side conversation almost.
I'm glad that that's panning out.
Yeah.
I was thinking it would kind of turn out this way. And I think like, I see those scenarios, basically those are the 3 scenarios that I kind of was hoping this would be useful for. And
Right.
of course, the conversation, we can imagine the other ones. The conversation is really kind of the unknown. Like basically, it's an inline comment that's short,
Right.
without notifications, of course. But looking at this right now, just quickly looking at this first glance, like first of all, it's interesting how things build on one another. So the fact that comments now have backgrounds makes them individual elements, individual objects. So I feel like this would not have worked before.
Yeah, we didn't have a way to do this because we couldn't attach things to comments.
You couldn't like hold it all together.
Right.
So this is really cool. And the question is like, did you? It's interesting because it's like, if you're in this thread, you don't need to get a notification from Flora saying sure. In your case, you're the one who's working on this. Like, did you miss that? Like,
yeah. So to me, that's actually one of the biggest questions here. Is it like, so coming from the applause feature, I think we have this feeling that like we don't want to be like bombarded by like likes and things like that. However, I think in this case, I think the communication is richer. Like I think I would actually rather know about this than not know about this. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like as we go along, we'll have to try it and use it for a while. But I think like as we go along, I'm not going to want to go back and like check everything to see.
Yeah.
But like I do want to know, like if there was like a thing. So I wonder if we still should do like a report or something like that down the road.
That the report actually ends up being more useful because there's richer communication. It's not just like a collection of. It's
not just like a list of faces, right?
Right. It's not like a bland. It's not like everything is the same. So then it's just a count basically before, right. But now there's actually communication happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe we make a report. You can opt out, whatever. But like, as soon as this first comment, it was like the first time we actually like interacted with it, and immediately I was like, oh man, I'm gonna want to know about that.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't want this to just like go by.
Yep.
So that was kind of neat.
So cool. So like one thought just off, it's like rather than a report daily, we could potentially, if we want, make this actually starting with, for example, this is of course out of scope, but like it's every 3 hours if there's any whispers, right? Or like you could have some control over the frequency,
right?
Where you could say starting at 3, or like just send me this every 6, or just send me this once a day,
yep.
Or don't send me it at all. And this would be the first foray into sort of bundled responses, because look, we did this in Basecamp too, where you had a digest of comments,
right?
Not just like little tiny things, but it could be entire long conversations. And I remember switching to digest mode for that and feeling like that was fine. That was the right pace. It was like wasn't it every 3 hours or something?
Yeah, I think we just had 2 options. It was like not digested or like every 3 hours if something happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we might find that that's a thing to go back to. But okay, cool. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. Yep.
Yeah. So I feel like fundamentally, like I feel like all the stuff that we had in mind like works and is kind of awesome. Like it's like as soon as we started using it, it was like, oh man, actually this is kind of great. I think there are still some open questions around like what we call it and how we like explain what the heck this is.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't have a lot of space in here. Like it's like this little.
Yeah.
Like right now it says like whisper to the person who commented, right?
Right.
But we don't explain what a whisper is or what's going to happen. And so I think there's like two ways we can do that. One is like we can add some explanation here somehow. Another way is we could be more suggestive with the icon at least. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a plus tells you nothing. So I
Yeah.
did some icon explorations just to see.
Cool. And by the way, I think this is the right order, which is not getting caught up in this, right? Right now, it's
Right,
just like, what about the interaction? What about the stuff? Like you're using it with Flora. Like you guys know what this does.
right,
Um, I think it'd be easy to spend a week messing around with the icon and not being able to try the idea. So I like this sequencing, but
totally.
it is like the big unknown. In fact, like when I mocked this whole thing up originally, it's like I kind of left that out partially because I didn't know what the hell to do with it,
Right, totally.
and
Yeah.
to leave
So
some
my feeling
room
is,
to figure it out.
yeah, like so I've been thinking about it a fair bit, and I think one of the things that's interesting about this feature compared to like likes or faves or anything like that is that it allows for both like positive and not really negative, but like empathetic response,
Hmm.
right? Where like the previous version, if somebody said like, "Oh man, my dad's in the hospital," you would like clap as support, but it feels wrong. Like it's like that's
Right.
not what you want to do. So here you could write a little thing or like put an emoji that's like a feeling emoji, something like that. Um, and so like that's one of the tricky things with the icon is that I feel like the icon needs to suggest like this is a like type thing, but it needs to not be a like type thing also because this is like richer than that.
Yeah.
Um, so I did a few different takes.
Cool.
Let me see if this works here.
Yeah, it works. Yep. Great.
Okay. So that's the plus.
Yep.
Oh, wait. Um, yeah, that's probably okay. So then I tried like a heart. Um, I don't know,
Yep.
not super into the heart. But I was like maybe just a face, like just a generic face thing. Kind of the downside of that is it kind of suggests that it's like an emoji picker, but maybe that's fine. Like you just hit it and then it expands. Try like a colored one and then
Hmm.
like one that has like a face and a plus, just to
Hmm.
sort of like suggest like you can add something here.
Hmm.
I kind of like that. Um, but that's like about as far as I got with it for now. Like, and we can totally wait. Like, this is not like an urgent thing.
Sure.
Um, but I just kind of wanted to show you like some different ideas for that, just so we can start thinking about it more.
Yeah, I'm stumped as well at the moment.
Yeah,
And I'll think about it a bit too. I thought about it a bit and I couldn't come up with anything.
yeah,
But okay, so that's an unknown. We don't know. It's an important unknown because it's like the first thing,
yeah. It's like
obviously.
how we talk about this,
Right,
right?
how we talk about this. Then you start thinking like, is it a word we're missing? Like if this was called something else, would it matter anyway? Or is it still like this is still a new idea, and that's the harder part because whatever it's called, unless there is some really magic spot on word or something, um, like I mean, or like short comment to Jonas. It's like that's sort of
Right.
technical, but like maybe it's actually more accurate and better. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe it's like we call them replies and they're just short. Like we just say, yeah, they're replies, but there's a length limit. I
Yeah,
don't know, like
yeah.
something like that.
Well, one thing to
Um,
keep in mind, like keeping in mind just where we're headed probably, is that at some point we're probably going to want to do inline replies, like full blown in blown, full blown inline replies,
right.
which would be actually a comment, and then
Yep.
we don't want to like pour some cement here and call these
Yeah,
replies if we're going to like
totally.
you know, so
Which
thinking
this
that
could
through.
actually be like sort of
Test.
a it could be a dangerous moment if we do want to do inline replies, just because like now we have like sort of two things that are kind of reply-ish. One of
Yeah.
them is short and one of them is long, and one of them has notifications and one of them doesn't. And like it might be hard to explain the difference.
Yeah, this
Uh,
is one of those moments where like applause is simple and straightforward. Um, and it's unlikely that there was any. I mean, there's always maybe some, but ambiguity between like, do I applaud or do I comment? I mean, there is some of that, I guess, but like, really, if you're going to write something, you write it, and if you're going to applaud, you just hit a button, right? So that was like a
right,
clear A/B. This is
right,
like definitely we're actually amping up the complexity, or we're toning down the contrast, which is actually
right.
more of it. I don't even. To me, this isn't. It's not complexity. Actually,
Yeah,
this is
it's more of
about.
like a gray area where it's like this feature is in between a comment and a like. It's
Yeah.
like floats in between that space. Yeah.
It that's exciting to me. a weekend, especially. Like
Right.
we got something here that's interesting. Clearly, like
Yep.
you guys have like there's something here, right?
Yeah.
Um, now, how do we tame it? Basically, it's like a wild
Right.
beast right now. Like how do we tame this and make this work? So okay, so this is something that's good to think about, but the mechanics feel right.
Yeah, like otherwise I feel like the way that it works and like where we put it and everything is like kind of worked out. Like there's more we need to do with the finesse of the interaction and stuff,
Yeah.
uh, but like fundamentally, like I feel like we could get there. Like I don't, that's not going to stop us from some shipping this. So the questions are all more about like, is this right? What are the notifications like? What do we call it? You know, does it get in the way of future things we want to do? Those are sort of the bigger things.
And do you think left to right makes sense?
I think it makes sense for the way the little mini conversation happens like this. The
Mm-hmm.
downside to it is, especially like on the phone, when this is narrow and you have like one or two
It wraps or whatever.
whispers here, you might have like a button here and then you hit it and then it goes whoosh, and it floats down to the left.
Yep.
Versus like if we had it in the front, it would always be like a reliable place.
Yeah.
Uh, but even that, like I think we could probably figure out something, or maybe it's fine. Like it doesn't matter if it moves a little.
Yeah, I think the trade-off is I actually think that I think people are going to want to converse this way, whether we make the UI work well for it or not. You're already seeing that yourself. And
Right.
so I think because of that, we might as well make it work well versus try to go upstream and make it difficult on people. Like if we did right to left, basically, things, you know, you're not going to read it right. It's going to feel weird. And then it's going to be frustrating because the thing you want to do, you can't quite, you can sort of kind of do, but not quite. And then it makes it worse. So I'd rather like figure out, I think this is better and just figure out the mobile situation. Perhaps
Yeah.
on mobile, I mean, maybe it's always below whatever's there. Maybe it's a two-line feature.
Yeah. It could just
Oh,
be like, this is always down here. Or,
yeah. Um, do you have any other thoughts for names? I mean, have you thought about anything? Like, does anything come to mind after playing with this?
I did. And so far I haven't found anything that I particularly liked.
Hollers?
I had, yeah, hollers. I had, I was trying to look at things that are like, suggest being supportive, but without being like overtly supportive, which is like a tricky balance. Like kudos is like a word like that,
Good one.
where it's like
That's
you're sort
good.
of like, yeah, you're sort of saying like, hey, like I am backing this, but like you can manifest that in different ways.
Yeah. Now, just to stop there, I think we should like go through each one. Like, so there to get to your point about like if someone's father was in the hospital, like giving kudos is a tricky,
Yeah, it's like still a little bit
still a little
tone
positive,
deaf.
but it's a
Yeah,
great.
right.
I think it's a really good option. But yeah, man, these are tough. Okay, what else you got?
Yeah, I had like, so the other ones are like that. So like I had props, like
Yep.
give props to somebody, but it's sort of the same. Um, One was like boosts, like boost this person, which I thought was kind of neat. Like
Mm-hmm.
give them a little boost, and it could be a positive boost, or like if they're feeling bad, um, it's like a an emotional boost, whatever.
That is really good,
Um,
actually.
yeah,
That's really really good. Like boost Jonas
yeah,
because these are all yeah. I think your insight into support is actually important. Like these are all probably going to be supportive in nature, whether or not they're like supporting a positive situation or supporting someone in a negative situation. They are probably supportive. I don't imagine you're going to see people arguing. You might see some people thumbs downing, maybe. Like, yeah, that could
yeah,
happen if it's a vote kind of thing. But I think in most cases, I think like the golden path here is going to be this is going to be positive energy. Um,
right. Well, and even in there are like cases where like a negative like word or emoji is supportive, which is confusing. Like if somebody
yes,
posts a thing and they're like, "Man, I just had like a terrible day and like my dog got hit by a car or something."
yeah,
Somebody might post like a frown, but that's supportive. They're not saying like what you did is bad. They're saying
yes.
like I feel bad with you, right? Um,
Boost is really good. That's really good. Yeah,
yeah,
nice one.
yeah. So that was pretty good. I had some other ones like nudge and things like that, but like that sounds bad. Like new in Basecamp nudges.
Yeah,
It's like,
bother people more frequently.
yeah.
Boost is
Uh,
really good. Is that have you seen that used anywhere? Or is that like an original thought? I'm just wondering.
no, I have.
It's
I
very
just
very
like
good.
I went to the thesaurus and just like tried to look up like tons of synonyms of things. Like I
Yeah,
was like looking for different like ways into this, and um,
And that's
so
usually
I
a
don't know. And maybe
rabbit
there's a
hole.
synonym of that that's clearer. Like I don't know if boost is a clear word, so maybe there's like another.
I like Boost a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Um, in fact, why don't we switch to using it while we're building this?
Okay.
Just so we can like feel like we haven't felt out whispers long enough, but we felt it out like conceptually. We wrote the thing up, there's some talk about it. Like I feel like we've given it some time and we could always go back to it.
Yeah.
But let's just like pop Boost in there now and see how that feels. We'll
Yeah. I
get
kind of
real
feel like
about
the
it.
name Whisper was good for us to like work out the concept of the idea. Like where like the motivation behind it is like we don't want to be blasting people with notifications and things about likes. Like it's like that feels bad. But once I made this, I felt like that was actually sort of the least interesting part of it,
Yeah.
where it's like well, it talks more to like the implementation that like no one's going to find out when you do this versus what you're like the positive thing that you're doing, which is like posting a comment or a nice gesture or whatever. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I like it. Why don't we just flip it into that and see what happens like in the meantime and see how
yeah,
that feels.
so I don't know how I would say it. Like send like boost
Boost
Flora.
Jonas.
Yeah,
Boost
send
Jonas.
Jonas a boost.
I wouldn't even send. I'd say boost. Like
Yeah,
you're boosting someone up.
yeah,
Just try it. I mean, I don't know. Let's see how it feels. But I'd say like boost Jonas, which is
yeah.
like it's a little weird, but like that's kind of good. It's a little quirky anyway, and it's kind of a fun thing. And like it's really, I kind of like it a lot
Yeah.
actually. Gosh,
Okay.
what's funny is I'm thinking now about that word. I love the alliteration off Basecamp, Basecamp boosts or whatever. And we,
Right.
way back when we talked about this idea of boosts. Do you remember that? Like on the
Yeah,
business
because we were
model
going to
thing?
do it like at the account level, like
Right.
boost up your base camp.
Yeah, so I love it, and I think it actually allows us to think a little bit about. You could use a little rocket ship emoji, like as the icon for that.
Right. Yeah. Totally. Yep.
It's all because a boost. It's about lift, and so it's like it's kind of that could be a really good one. That could be a
Yeah.
good
No,
one.
that's neat. Yeah. Yeah. The
Um,
rocket would be good because then
yeah,
the rocket is also like completely unemotional. Like it's just like a generic
yeah,
object. It's not like a heart or a smile or anything that suggests that like you feel one way or the other.
yeah. So let's. I mean, why don't you roll with those and see how that feels? Unless
Okay.
unless like you're not feeling it, but I think it might be good just to kind of get real with it and see what happens.
Yeah. No, I like that. It feels closer to what this is about, I think. So
Cool. Well, that's good. Okay. Have you looked at this? It's on beta 5. I'll start playing with it too. But have you looked at it like at the bottom of other things besides comments and like
I've
could
only really seen it on like messages and comments at this point.
okay
It's currently everywhere where you could clap, which is like I think it's like messages, documents, comments.
to do
It's on
completions?
like to do completions, which is like it's not in the right spot. It should be over here.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
but
Okay.
yeah, so it's there.
Cool.
Uh, so yeah, so you can pretty much use it wherever you had applause, I think.
Yeah.
And then it's on check-in answers too, but that's a little busted. I need to fix that.
Okay.
There's like a sizing glitch or something. It works. It just like doesn't look quite right.
Okay.
Um,
Um, do you have any examples on beta 5 currently of any let's call them like boosts on messages or anything? Just want to see how it looks at the bottom of something else.
yeah, let's go
If
to.
not, we
Let me
can
just
just like make some really quick too. I'm
let's
just
just
wondering
go.
if there's anything.
There's probably a message in here. Let's boost some sprinkler maintenance.
Hang on, the screen's still refreshing here.
Oh, okay.
It's just a little bit slow. I just might as well wait a second here while it. There we go. Okay.
Okay. So I'll put in.
Is there a sprinkler emoji? Grass?
Yeah, I don't know. Is there?
There's got to be
Isn't there?
some lawn or something. Or there's
There's
got,
the. Yeah, there we go.
yeah, there you go. Rice. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Cool.
So it just stays.
Okay.
Oh.
So one thought is the reason I want to look at this is because I think it looks really good on comments because they're compartmentalized.
Yeah.
It's a little floaty at the bottom of messages, and it would be also on documents.
Yeah, I
So
wonder if maybe we should do like a border or something.
yeah, so I think that would be worth looking at next, maybe, or not even next, but at some point, I they probably need to be held in a bit so they don't look like they're part of the thing.
Right.
But they're actually like they're little things on the thing. So anyway, whatever. Not urgent, but I guess this would only actually apply on messages and documents because everything else, to-do completions, check-in answers,
Yeah,
comments,
everything else
all.
is in a little bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would
Uh,
just, look at that at some point.
yeah, we could do like I could outline them instead of having a background color or something like that. Um, Early when we first were hooking this up, I tried like three or four different styles and decided to just go with like the absolute least styling to start.
Visually, there's another thing we could try here. Um, yeah, website's funny down there. What if we did a thick outline around the shape of the what we're calling crowds currently? Like if
Yeah, like
there's a
around here.
yeah, and like you get like it just kind of wraps the shape, and then
Yep.
like that itself would hold it in, and it would also hold it in comments. Perhaps it should be wrapped in comments as well. Maybe
Right.
not. But there's some maybe something like that to really emphasize that these are all like a group thing together. The other thing I want to ask you is, can you at mention in these?
Currently not because it's just a plain text field, but we totally could do a tricks field instead. There's no reason we couldn't.
If we did that, we'd want to look at how this looks because these basically look like at mentions, sort of.
Yeah, it might get confusing because there'd be like a face and then like a second face.
Yeah.
Um,
The the only thing that was neat about that idea, I was talking to Ryan about this early on when we were working through this concept, is that it's actually, you'll see this pattern that we sometimes use where we'll just like at mention someone in comments or like at mention caret caret to point up or something or CC or whatever. And
right.
if you're writing a whole comment and then you at mention or CC someone, like that's fine. But sometimes you'll see people just like CCing someone. And you'll
Right.
see this on Instagram a lot also, which is like people just like at mention someone so they see something that they.
Totally. Yeah, they're just like, hey, look at this. Yeah.
Right. And so like boosts are a great place to do that in a sense because they don't notify everybody else.
Right.
So it kind of has this natural, it's like a natural, hey, Jonas, check this out. It's a natural way to say, hey, Jonas, check this out without telling 54 other people that I told Jonas to check this out.
Right.
So it might be worth, and I don't think we could eliminate them for V1 of this, absolutely. We probably
Yeah.
should. But it might be an interesting thing to keep an eye on and to think
Yep.
about how we could make that work.
Yeah. One thing that's a little bit funny is like if the idea of this thing is to avoid being notified, but then you can mention somebody in it. I guess that's fine because it's like a mention and it's not
I think it's fine.
the thing itself. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, it's like actually it's a hack in a sense. Like it is a way to
Right.
send a notification about something specific. The other thing we could do, for example, if we did at mentions here, is we do the autocomplete and don't show face, but we just like show the little blue pill around the name of
Yeah,
the
that's
at
true.
mention.
Yep. It could be like a
Special,
different style for that. Yeah.
slightly different, but still
Yep.
recognizable.
Right.
Um,
Yep. Cool. Yeah, I'll think about that some more.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, this is
and then
what
there,
this is like a week's worth of work so far. Less.
yeah, we didn't really get started in earnest until like Tuesday.
Yeah,
So
I'm really pleased with that. I mean, that's like this is great. This is a great
yeah, it's
start.
pretty good. It's like and like deleting is pretty nice. It kind of pops away, and
Oh, nice. Yeah.
so it's kind of good. There's like some stuff here. So if there's a few other things in the interaction that I'm not sure about too. Like one thing is I kind of feel like it should have an emoji picker because like this is just like buried. Like people just don't. I feel like people don't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that, and then I also think maybe it needs to have a submit button, especially on the phone. Like if you do on the phone, if you like type the field, pick an emoji, and then you say done, and then like the keyboard goes away, and you're kind of stuck because you like can't submit. So then you have to like tap it again and hit return to submit it. So I feel like maybe there needs to be like a visual thing that you just can hit to submit.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Why not?
Uh,
Right? Like I
yeah.
would have a button at the end, and of course you can hit return to submit too. But that makes sense. There's no reason
Yep.
to like we're not really saving space. I mean, the only places that like we could get caught on that is at the end of a long line. It wouldn't have wrapped otherwise, but like whatever. I mean, it's much
Right.
better to be clear 97% of the time than like those edge cases. So yeah, a button makes
Yeah.
sense. Emoji picker makes sense. I mean, it might make sense just to basically to let's just use the campfire one for now, and also it'll kind of encourage us perhaps to um, make that one more substantial.
Right.
Are we
Yeah, I
dealing?
think so. So if we use the campfire one, I think we have to switch to tricks because I'm pretty sure that's like a
Yeah.
trick specific thing. So
Do we lose anything, or are we like mixing? emoji sizes or anything when we're dealing with like the picker versus our custom one?
I think the picker just picks a native one for you rather than having to like pop the OS thing.
Okay.
So I think the character you get at the end, I'm pretty sure is the same.
Okay.
It's just like a different way to get to it. But yeah, I think it'd be nice to have that and then yeah, improve that picker a little.
Cool.
But yeah,
I like it. This is good. This is good. This is
cool.
good.
Yeah,
All right, let's change the name for now. See how it feels. Look at like encapsulating them at the bottom of messages and documents. I think, given the fact that there will be little mini conversations sparked by this. By the way, Spark is another good name, perhaps.
yeah,
Although, like, what I like about Boost is that it's a verb. I mean, Spark could be in a sense, but like, I mean, it is, but it's also a noun. But it's also like it's weird to say like Spark Jonas. It's almost like
right.
I'm gonna burn you. You know, like
No
actually
light on
it's
fire,
negative. Yeah, burn. So Boost is great. Yeah, Boost is great. Keep thinking though if something else pops in.
yeah.
And just thinking about anything else. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Anything else you want to look at?
Let me check my to-do list real quick just to see if there's anything. I think the rest of this is kind of just detail stuff.
I've been following the hill charts, by the way. It's pretty great. Like I don't know if you guys are keeping it. Like, can you go up to the top? I saw it yesterday.
Yeah, we've been updating it like at the end of the day,
21 hours
every
ago.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been cool to actually click 21 hours ago. It's been cool to scroll through and just see the progress and sort of
Yeah.
the scope progress and like the confidence building. I like seeing that.
Right.
Also, their work, FYI, maybe you saw, but they're working on annotation.
Yeah, that'd be
Be
great.
able to annotate a snapshot, like why did things move, or just general notes. So
This looks better now too. They took away the color.
background, yeah.
Yeah, this looks good.
Actually, I think maybe they did add annotation then. Click update for a second. Okay, I guess not.
Not yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we're still sort of figuring out how to do this.
Yeah.
It's like, should I have like maybe I should have more lists that are more fine grained or something, but it's been okay for now.
I think
there's like this actually has like a ton of stuff in it. Like it's like it seems like straightforward, but there's actually like 50 different small things happening all at once. So it's like kind of a big thing.
Yeah, I mean it's natural to start this way and then to break out more scopes as we go. I mean,
yeah.
The cool thing about this actually I think is because there's this chart, you actually think you ask different questions and you think different thoughts, and you're like, maybe this should be two things because now when I'm tracking it, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it kind of brings into
like
question like, hey, wait, why do we have 30 to-dos on this one topic?
Yeah.
It seems like too much. Yeah.
It's like it's hard to, when it becomes, this is kind of the thing that I love about this is that like it forces you to think a little bit differently and to ask different questions and to question like what you're doing. So for example, if there's 30 to-dos, this thing is barely going to budge on the hill.
Right.
And you're like, this has been here for 4 days and it hasn't moved. Why? Well, I mean, we've been making progress, but like it's hard to judge the progress because there's too many unrelated things. So then you break the scope out, and then you can start to move things over the hill faster and with more control. So anyway, that's an aside, of course. But
yeah, totally.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been nice.
Curious to hear your experience when it's all over, like this project's over. And
yeah, I mean, even if nothing else, like I just like the visual of it.
Yeah.
Like it's nice. Like you show up and you're like, oh, like yesterday, I think, or maybe yesterday or the day before, Flora updated it, and I was still working. So like I showed up and I was like, oh, cool, we made some progress. Like, which is kind of nice. Like yeah. Like, oh.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Cool. All right. Cool. Anything else, or we feeling good?
Yeah, I think that's about it. So I'll make the changes we talked about, and then maybe you and I can look at it one more time, and then at that point we can probably release it to staff if we feel good enough.
Sure. What, you want to look at it like on Monday or something, or Tuesday, whatever, like early next week?
Yeah, maybe like Monday afternoon or something. I'll get the rest of the stuff kind of tidied up, and because it doesn't need to be super perfect if we're going to just internally launch it. Like, it just needs to kind of work basically, so we can start getting feedback about it.
Yeah, and it can be a little crufty, and just hit me up whenever Monday, and then we'll find a time and we'll make it work.
Cool.
Or Tuesday, whenever. There's no rush.
Yeah,
and I'll play around with it on beta 5 a bit too.
Yeah, give it a spin.
Is there any like? Are you guys using it on this particular project? Like, is it okay for me to like?
We are, except we're mostly just like completing to-dos, so there's not like a lot of information there to. Yeah, if you go back and look at some past to-dos, that are done, a lot of those have whispers on them because we're like every time we complete, we're like, hey.
Okay.
So
Cool.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Great, man. All right. Cool. I will have a good weekend. I'll talk to you next week.
yeah. You too.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.